to sell us the stale meat of fear and prejudice, why can't you be courageous to stand on the history of an Ali, of Maya Angelou, Dr. King, Shirley Chisholm, Susan B. Anthony, and say the historical record? If the false prophets are so courageous to sell us propaganda, what about you who know better? And when we know better, we do better. So this is a time for you to use the power of your ideas in service of our communities. Because in the words of the great Shirley Chisholm, unbought, she said, and I quote, "You don't make progress by standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas." Anybody who knows me knows this. I tell folk, don't call me and complain, because I have limited time in the day to listen to complaints. I am not interested in listening to complaints. Call me and say, Bankole, I have this great idea. I think we can do this. So let's get together for coffee. Let's have a dialogue. Let's see what we can do. The power of ideas. If you got complaints, don't bring it here. Shirley Chisholm said, we can't sit on the sidelines whimpering and complaining. Do something. If you don't like it, step up and do something. Simple as that. If not, just move on. Shirley Chisholm said we make progress by implementing ideas. We implement ideas, not whimpering and complaining. So this is a time also for us to for you to finally accept a responsibility of leadership that includes being concerned about the greater good, because in the words of the great Rabbi Abraham Yahshua Heschel, he said, some are guilty, but all are responsible. Rabbi Heschel, one of the great Jewish theologians of the 20th century, marched with Dr. King in Selma. And when he went to Selma with Dr. King at the cradle of civil rights, when he marched with Dr. King in Selma for voting rights, he said this, and I quote, an iconic quote. He said, when I marched in Selma, my feet were praying. So Rabbi Heschel said, some are guilty, but all are responsible. And I know that's difficult to accept. But true leadership accepts that premise as foundational to advancing our community. It can't just be you. You can't say, well, that's not my child. That's not my problem. That's their problem. But somehow, Michael Jackson, man in the mirror, somehow, down the line, and it won't take too long, maybe within 4 months, you'll find yourself in the same problem. Oh, and then you want the village to come out and embrace you. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I've heard it from what I call, and excuse me to the day's member, I've heard it from the professional class. Oh, that's not our problem. You know, I believe in rugged individualism. We got to pull ourselves by the bootstraps. Dr. King said, how can you tell a man who has no boots to pull himself by the bootstraps? Oh, that's on you. That's not on me. You know, we got nothing to do with that. But then somehow, it comes back to you. Oh, and then they call. You know, Dr. Singleton, I've gotten calls now. Oh, you know, I was reading Frederick Douglass, Prophet of Freedom. I was reading Du Bois, Souls of Black Folk. Oh, all of a sudden, you know about W.B. Du Bois. All of a sudden, you know about the great historians. All of a sudden, you know about the activists of the 20th century. But when we called you to participate, we said this also is part of your problem. You said no. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. So Rabbi Heschel said, some are guilty, but all are responsible. If they come for somebody in your community, you need to stand up, because if you don't feel like you're responsible, next time they will say, you are guilty, we're coming for you. So this is also a period for you to take credit for what you have done. It's very important. You know, I come across a lot of folk. They said, you know, Bankole, I did this, I did that. I was inducted into the Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society. You know, 5 years ago, I came up with this idea. I was here, I did this, I did all of this. I said, well, we don't know that you did that. Well, you know, I just like to stay in the background. I said, really? Okay. One thing I know is that those who stay in the background are never remembered by history. Yes. And you ask yourself, more than a century after great achievements have been registered, why is it that we are only finding out through Netflix? You're watching those documentaries, like, wow, it happened 100 years ago. Yes, because you cannot stay in the background. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, be humble about it. No, proclaim your achievements, take your credit. Because if you don't take your credit, someone else will take your credit and will claim your credit and will claim your identity. We've been taught to be meek, mild, and lowly. Somebody said, well, Bankole got a chip on his shoulder. Oh, well, of course, because Bankole knows who he is. Hey, I know whose I am. Oh, yes. I'm a proud black man. I'm an intelligent black man. Oh, yes. I can walk into any room and speak the language in that room. And I will take credit for what I have done. And because we don't take credit, because you don't take credit for what you have done, you remain invisible. You remain invisible. And what happens when you remain invisible? History never remembers you. So I say, take your credit. What you have done this evening is your accomplishment. You did this. We were not there when you went through growing pains. We were not there when you had to decide whether to respond to an immediate challenge or to study, to make sure you kept your membership in this honor society. We were not there. So you put in the hard work, you take your credit. Stop being humble, stop being meek, stop staying in the background, stop being shy, rise up and take your credit. Because if you don't, someone else will take your credit. Someone else will steal your identity. They will take your achievements and flip it and make it look as if they did that. And you'll get all the credit. And guess what I tell people? Don't give me my flowers when I'm dead. I need my flowers now, because when I'm no longer, when I'm in the grave, I cannot smell any flowers. So I don't understand why we give people flowers when they're no longer around. They're not here to smell the flowers. You want to name a school after Dr. Singleton? Don't wait until he's 99 years old. Name the school after him now because of what he has done. Yeah. So take your credit. You did it. If they say you're proud, say yes, I'm proud about it. I did the work. So I must get the credit. So finally, this is a time for you to realize that you come from a great lineage and heritage that believes in the redeeming power of hope. Because in the words of Dr. King, he said, we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Disappointments do come. Some of you walked here with disappointments this evening. Some of us walked here with disappointments this evening. We can accept it. There's nothing we can do about it. But we cannot be in a state of hopelessness. So when you go back home this evening, you turn on the news, a state of hopelessness, everything is falling apart. You know, you got merchants of deception selling you so much fear. No solutions. Remember this. Dr. King said, never lose infinite hope. Because hope is the one thing that the leaders of the past, men and women, who faced greater difficulties than we faced, that's what they had. They never lost hope. They never did. Because they understood that what they were doing was for posterity. They understood that they were building blocks for us to be here. They understood the urgency of the moment. So there was no way they could lose hope. When Nelson Mandela came out of prison after 27 years, he was asked, why aren't you so bitter? Because Nelson Mandela was a hopeful man. He said, I am the master of my destiny. I am the captain of my soul. That's from a poet. So you ask yourself tonight, are you the master of your destiny? Are you the captain of your soul? You must remain hopeful. It may get ugly. It may get worse. We may not even know what the next 6 months is going to look like. But you have to remain hopeful. Because they want you to give in to fear. And with that, I say congratulations and thank you so much for having me this evening.